Sure. The basic idea is pretty simple. If you take any object, for instance, the tabletop, and magnify it and examine it on very small scales, there'll be molecules and atoms. And if you look at the atoms and magnify them, you'll see that there's a nucleus, protons and neutrons, surrounded by orbiting electrons. And in 1968, we learned that if you magnify a proton, there's yet further substructure. The Russian dolls continue. Inside, there are 3 quarks, even smaller particles. Now, for a long time, people thought quarks and electrons were all there was, together with a few other exotic particles that make up the universe. String theory comes along and says, actually, there's one more level of substructure. If you examine an electron or examine a quark in incredibly fine resolution, you'll find that there's a single loop of vibrating energy that we call a string. And that's the idea of string theory, that all of the particles in the universe are different ways in which a fundamental loop of energy can vibrate. So much like a violin string can play a C, it can play an A sharp, different notes that our ear senses, different tones, the different ways that these fundamental strings vibrate correspond to the different particles of nature. An electron is like a C, a quark is like an A sharp, and so forth.